Hi everyone. I wanted to thank you for a terrific class today. I also want to thank you, Hytham, for doing a wonderful job misting the room for us. I wanted to take a few moments to follow up on one or two things that I didn't get to address or to speak to as fully as I had wanted to, or would be helpful to the few of you who missed class today as it relates to one of the assignments for the week. The breathe text that many of you received. If you didn't receive a breathe text from me yesterday or the day before, then please let me know because it means that I don't have your cell number to be able to text you, and you can email me that information. If you did, it might have been a surprise to you. And in fact, from some of the replies that I received, such as, who the heck is this? I suspect that it was. I mentioned briefly, I think, in our first class that over the course of the semester and a few weeks into it, you would begin to receive from me a mindfulness cue or a reminder, which might come in the form of breathe or stop or snow globe or something to remind you to, in that moment, if you choose, wake up and be a little bit more aware of what's taking place. You can practice stop in that moment by stopping, taking a breath, aware of the breath, observing what's going on in the proceeding, or however it is that you might choose. It could be as little as a breath or just a glance, but with a different way of knowing, or a longer practice. It connects to that wedge of awareness that we were speaking about today in class, and bringing that wedge of awareness as prompted by the reminder, but ultimately, and this is one of the reasons why I do this with you all, because we begin to have it happen more spontaneous than automatically. We don't need to be reminded by an external source. We actually begin to remind ourselves. So I will continue to do that with more frequency. I'll be sensitive to early in the morning and late at night. To avoid that, it'll be once or twice, once every day or two. And the intention is for you to receive it, have it be a reminder. You need not reply to me, and you can really regard it however you choose. The other thing I wanted to speak to you about is the assignment that's on the back of the reading packet, and that speaks to the ethical aspiration. So as I mentioned briefly in class, the idea here is to, in following up from our assignment regarding in our readings for this last week on ethics, and moving into our readings for next week, which have to do with relationships, communication, and as you might imagine, there's a connection between sort of the ways we conduct ourselves and our interactions with others, to pick one of two big picture items, that is telling the truth as opposed to lying, and not and being respectful of the rights of others as opposed to stealing. And so we could say to not lie, or to not steal, or we could say speak the truth, or be respectful of the rights of others, however you'd like to term it. And the idea here is that in ways that are probably not big for you, I mean, I don't think that you're out there stealing, I don't think that you're out there lying, but if we really, really, really paid attention in some of our interactions with others, we may find that from time to time we do a little bit of a white lie, we fudge, we puff, we leave information out, and oftentimes we do that because in those moments there's a snow globe that is beginning to become engaged, if not already engaged. And so the important question is are we not being as forthright as we could be because that's really called for, and maybe sometimes it is, that's for you to decide, or is it because in some way we are agitated and we're not able to see more clearly into what really is the more appropriate, wise, and compassionate course of action. So too with stealing. And the idea here is that stealing can be regarded just as truth-telling, or not telling the truth can be regarded rather broadly. So that if you ask somebody to meet you at a certain time and you show up 15 minutes late, you could see that as stealing their time. And we talked in class about other variations on that theme. So this is really for you to pick one of the two. Is it speaking the truth, or is it respecting the rights of others? To do so because you sort of know yourself that that's an area where maybe you could be a little bit more attentive. And to then, over the course of this week, be very, very aware of moments where you find yourselves traipsing into that terrain. And with that awareness, as the readings from Professor Riskin's article sort of informs, with that awareness, and maybe a short practice that you do in those moments, to begin to better understand what's taking place, and or maybe even modify your behavior. It's not important to me whether you do or don't modify your behavior. What is important to me is that you bring awareness into those moments. And I think also that it would be helpful to you, and I encourage you to take a post-it or two and to write a reminder, speak the truth, do not lie, whatever that may be, and put them places or put it on your schedule or in some way remind yourself, because it's very easy, especially because this can be very subtle, the level at which we're exploring this, to just forget. And then next week comes and you've forgotten really to do it. And one of your writing assignments for this week will be your observations of this practice. And this is really its own awareness practice. And we're bringing awareness together with our conduct, and we're really bridging that with our relationships with others. Alrighty, I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. If you have any questions, please feel free, as always, to call me, to email me, or to text me. And I look forward to seeing you next week.